trailer?
We chose to do a horror trailer due to the fact within our age group we thought it was a popular genre to do. So our age group doesn't watch romantic comedies or stuff like that. We like to be scared, we like to be feared, we like to not know what's happening next. We also chose to do this because we can play about with the many aspects such as the mise-en-scène, so the lighting, the costumes. You can just really experiment with what works and what doesn't work.
What do you expect to see in a horror trailer?
In a typical horror trailer, you expect it to be fast-paced, quite dark, creepy, sudden jumps, and also within horror trailers you normally see the actual problem, what's being caused. So it could be a person being haunted, you see like dolls that could be part of a child's life and that like a spirit or something has attached themselves to the child. You also expect it to be set in a quite freaky place, like it could be woods where it's quite dark or a mansion. What are the conventions of the horror genre and how are we going to use media language to conform or challenge these?
As we know, the conventions of a horror film tend to be the sense of fear. There's often the dark spaces, quite crowded spaces, and then there's normally a haunting or something paranormal, and for most of those conventions we've chosen to stick with them. So we'll use the media language such as our camera angles and our lighting to produce this environment of fear. So we're filming up the woods, so that'll give us our dark location, and our plot also includes a haunting. There's going to be pointers to incidents that have happened before, like there's going to be a noose for a hanging, and there's going to be teddies to represent the story surrounds a child. But we are actually planning to challenge some of the conventions. For example, as previously mentioned, we're going to have a female as the main protagonist, which doesn't tend to happen because women are normally portrayed as weaker, so we're going to have this strong female character. And we're also challenging the convention that in the plot of horror films, quite often the people who are being haunted get themselves into the situations by accident, whereas here we're having the girls willingly go back up to the woods to look for the locket that they've lost. Which is something you don't often see. They normally stumble upon this place by accident, whereas they know they're going to go back up at night. So we're doing a mixture of challenging and conforming to make our film a bit more interesting.
Who is our trailer aimed at and why?
The age group we've chosen to aim our film at is 15 to 35 year olds because it's quite often younger people that enjoy horror films, because in the grand scheme of like filming, horror films of a similar genre to ours are relatively new, so it's normally younger people that enjoy to watch it. And we actually did a survey with people of that age group that found that they are quite into paranormal horrors and things of that genre, so we've chosen to suit our genre to our age group, and we feel that it would be that kind of age group that would go to the cinema to see those kind of films.
What type of institution would produce this film and why?
The institutions that we're looking at that would probably produce this film are small independent industries such as Heyday, because we're an independent company as well and we also have low budget, and so they'd probably be interested in actually producing the film.
What is the narrative of your film?
We've discussed the plot of our overall film so that we know which parts to film for our trailer, so it's important for us to know the whole plot if we were to make this into a film. We're going to have a group of teenagers visit the woodland at night, in the afternoon, on a visit to go for a walk, and one of the girls is wearing a locket which is a family heirloom, and she loses the locket without knowing, and they don't realise until they've gotten home, so they go back up in the early evening to look for the locket but get lost whilst doing so. And our protagonist, our villain character, is a spirit that's essentially trapped inside the locket after wearing it whilst being hung for being a witch back in the past. And once the locket is relocated in the space where she was hung, the combination of the location and the item bring the spirit out of the locket, and so the girls, whilst lost in the woods, are traumatised by this spirit, and when eventually they find the locket, then that's sort of the trigger for the big event, which is the girls being caught by this spirit. And obviously in a trailer you don't see the whole plot, but like I said before, it's just important for us to know the plot so that we know which parts to film.
What location have we chosen and why?
We have chosen to shoot up Shipley Wood simply because it's a common convention that's used a lot in horror movies. We can do a lot with the actual location itself. We can hang things, we can put things all over the floor, we can carve into the wood. We can just do a lot with the actual location, and it's very commonly used throughout horror movies.
Which characters will be in our film and how will we choose to represent them?
We are thinking of using a group of teenage girls in our piece just because they are more vulnerable and they're going to be a bit more scared in the play because they don't actually know what's going on. Also, it will relate to the audience that we are actually targeting against because they are all teenage girls. And we're also thinking for the villain, we're going to be choosing a girl since it actually challenges the normal conventions of a horror movie. Since the girl is usually the weak and vulnerable one, whereas in this one she's actually the stronger one.